What it do, cucks? It's your boy the Hater, and it's time for today's second video, and it's also time for the unveiling of Hater's new initiative. This is called the 25 Days of Hate, cucks. For the next 25 days, you can expect at least one 25 Reasons video. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait, Let's get to it, cucks. Today's video, the first one on the 25 Days of Hate, is 25 reasons why Seth Rollins sucks. All right. Reason number one, he calls himself the architect, despite never doing anything that is architectural in design or in any capacity. The presumption here is that because he's the guy in the Shield that has no clear reason to be there, that he must be the guy that's designing the plans. Whatever. It may have made sense in the Shield. It sure as shit doesn't make sense anymore. Reason number two, motherfucks. He is the Visionary. All right, another dumbass nickname that has absolutely no logical sense. What did he envision that came true? You know what I mean? I remember when he was like the Monday Night Messiah, which should be its own reason, but it's not. He had like a fucking stable with AOP and Buddy Murphy. And they were like supposed to be like his followers, but what exactly were they following? None of it made any sense, cucks. Reason number three, his shitty voice. I'm Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns. He held me down. I'm CM Punk. I'm the future. Like, I fucking hate his voice. It's annoying as shit. I don't like him. I don't like him when he speaks. I don't like him at all, cucksters. Reason number four, he's not in shape enough any longer. There was a point when he first got his singles run where he was in incredible shape. I was like, holy shit, this guy's actually putting in the work. Now he's like flabby, He looks like Sami Zayn. That is an unacceptable aesthetic for a professional wrestler, especially when right next to him is Braun Breaker, who looks like he's built out of stone. Anyways, reason number five, he is mid on the mic, all right? Here's the thing, right? A lot of people say that Seth Rollins is good on the mic. I don't agree. I think he's mid. He often fucks things up, and even when he doesn't, he's just not very interesting. And to me, that's important. It's important that you maintain interest in your character, and your storyline. And quite frankly, every time Seth Rollins starts cutting a promo, I tune out. It's hard to follow because I already know what the fuck he's gonna say. He's gonna say nothing. I'm the future. That's what he's gonna say. Anyways, reason number six, he is largely a loser, okay? Let's not forget the fact that Seth Rollins has had one, real run, right? It was his Money in the Bank into his world title run. That's it. Everything else has been mid-card level, including his current run. Let's not get it twisted. Oh, he beat Brock Lesnar. We'll talk about that later. But let's be real. Nobody cared. That was not the real main event. Brock Lesnar didn't care. He was like, oh, let's have a 2-minute match and move on with our lives, right? He didn't care at all. Nobody could possibly care. It was presented as a fluke. That's like the whole point. Every time someone beats Brock Lesnar in 2 minutes, that means it's a fluke. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with Drew McIntyre. He beat him. It was a fluke. The next year, Lesnar eliminates him from the Rumble. You know what I mean? And wins the Rumble. That's just how it is, man. Brock Lesnar, that's how he operates. The only way to legit beat Brock Lesnar is if you have, a long, prolonged match with him like Roman Reigns did, Or Cena. Those are the only people that have, legit beat him. Anybody can do 3 moves and get lucky, right? But, that's how it's presented. I don't care what anyone says. What do you think of them apples? Reason number 7. Oh, actually, let's continue on in reason number 6 a little bit. Let's not forget that a few years ago, Rollins was in the fucking, what's it called? The Elimination Chamber for the U.S. title match. He won, to be fair, but it doesn't matter. He's a mid-carder. Cucks. Reason number 7. He is second to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is obviously the guy that came out ahead from the Shield. Dean Ambrose is number 3, and Seth Rollins is number 2. Now, I will concede that I think a lot of people would have probably thought that Dean Ambrose could have been number 2, because a lot of fans liked him. But I knew that Rollins is better than Dean Ambrose. I mean, Dean Ambrose is fucking garbage. So there you have it. Reason number 8. He has failed many times at doing the same thing. All right, first of all, when he was a lackey in the Shield, that was a success. No doubt about it. Everything beyond that Like, for example, he tried to have a faction that involved Buddy Murphy. I don't know what the fuck people were thinking. What is it? Where's this gonna go? What, Buddy Murphy's gonna be the mid-carder? What are you talking about, you know? That failed. In my opinion, this Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker thing is also failing. This feels like a mid-card faction, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like the Bloodline, which was composed of basically undercard wrestlers and Roman Reigns, right? This feels like a mid-card faction. It feels like tomorrow, Braun Breaker could be the leader. You know? Like, as a matter of fact, why did he do it like that? Anyways, he's failed at that. He's failed many times at having, like, important moments. He's had a few of them, I will concede, but a lot of them were manufactured around him. Reason number 9, he has no clear character. What is his character? What is the overarching character of Seth Rollins? He's the architect. No, he's not the architect. Oh, Nakamura is the artist. No, he's not the artist, all right? You need a character. Honestly, right before WrestleMania was the time that I started liking Seth Rollins the most because he finally was developing a character. His character was kind of like this vanguard, this bulwark of the WWE, meaning that he was here to set things straight. CM Punk is effectively a part-timer, but he didn't call him that. He said CM Punk is a guy that left the company and talked shit for years, facts, and he said Roman Reigns is a part-timer, whereas I am here busting my ass. Fair enough, right? That's what happened. That's how it went down. And with all that being said, we find ourselves with Seth Rollins eventually turning heel, and now he's just another guy who wants to be champion, right? Like, how did him winning have any bearing on the future of WWE? That will go down as one of the most overhyped matches in wrestling history. The triple threat, quote-unquote, main event of night 1. You know what I mean? It'll just be like, why do they have this? This is stupid. You know? Anyways, I digress. That's neither here nor there. We've talked about WrestleMania ad nauseum. Reason number 10, he has no clear motivation, right? What is the purpose of this faction, right? What is the logic behind it? What is it? You know, first he said he's going to like make sure that wrestling is safe and he wants to be world champion. Now all of a sudden, he's got a faction and he hasn't cashed in his money in the bank, even though he had like a great opportunity to do so. It's unclear what the purpose of this alliance is. When there's an alliance, there needs to be a purpose, right? Simple as that. The Shield, their purpose is they're trying to make a name for themselves by being essentially guns for hire. They're 3 young guys. They want to like be seen. They want to stand out, right? You know, factions with no purpose don't work out. Look at Retribution. Look at the Wyatt Six, right? Doesn't look at the Wyatt family. It didn't work out for a reason. It's like all they would do is break up, get together, break up again, and nobody would give a fuck. Oh, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper are back in the family. Like, who gives a shit? They're going to break up in a few weeks anyways. They're going to do nothing of value. So anyways, that's that. Reason number 11, the blonde streak in his hair. It's time to get rid of that shit. All right? Reason number 12, the way he dresses, motherfucks. I think the thumbnail paints a clear picture for everybody. But in case you're still confused, you can go and look up other weird shit that he's worn, including a hat that he wore as a shoulder pad. It's really stupid. It's really annoying. It doesn't fit. It makes no sense. And I fucking hate it. What do you think of them apples? You know what I mean? Not enough shit is said about Seth Rollins and the way that he dresses. But that's why I'm here. Cucks this. Reason number 13. He seems like a petty dude in real life, right? Like he's got issues with CM Punk in real life. I understand the issues. I have no issue with someone having issues with CM Punk. CM Punk seems like a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? You can just look at him and you can be like, this guy's a fucking dick, right? No, but like most people that work with CM Punk just say bad things about him. And CM Punk's like, oh, it's everyone else except for me. Like, it's like, all he does is he really is like a fucking cancer. He's a poison to this industry, CM Punk is, you know? But Seth Rollins, I remember I saw this, it was a clip on a Chris Van Vliet interview with Becky Lynch, and Becky was saying how like Seth Rollins, you know, like he must have felt disrespected, which is what probably Seth Rollins said, because like the company didn't tell him that CM Punk was coming back. I don't give a fuck. Why would I tell, like, do they tell Tozawa when someone comes back? No, shut up, nerd. You're a fucking mid-card nobody, you know what I mean? We're going to tell you what we want to tell you, and you'll be happy to hear that, cuck. He seems petty as shit. I don't like that. Reason number 14, going along with the theme of Becky Lynch, he was once called the man's man. by himself, motherfuckers. There were shirts that were sold, Seth Rollins shirts, that said, the man's man. I don't understand what that means, but where I come from, that seems to me that Seth Rollins is coming out via shirt, because if he's the man of another man, he must be gay. Hey, that's cool. It all makes sense. The flashy clothes, the yellow hair, but then you realize, wait a second, Becky Lynch calls herself the man. That's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Reason number 15. Nearly all of his runs have been forgettable, right? I alluded to this earlier. Like, how many times has Seth Rollins been mid-card champion? Like 10 times? I don't even know, motherfuckers. They're all completely forgettable. All of his world title reigns, except for the first one, are completely forgettable, right? And speaking of that, reason number 16, his Rumble win was forgettable. I don't remember who he eliminated last. I barely remember the build-up to it. I only remember that he wrestled Brock Lesnar at Wrestlemania, which brings me to reason number 17. His Mania win against Lesnar was stupid. Nobody believed it. It was dumb. It opened the match, setting another precedent yet again for shitty matches to open the pay-per-view. Then we've got reason number 18, a personal favorite of mine. Not what actually I'm going to say, but the actual reason itself, because I think it captures Seth Rollins perfectly. He injures people, motherfuckers. Remember when Finn Balor won the Universal title? He was the first ever Universal Champion. He won using 2 out of his 3 moves. And then Seth Rollins buckle bombs him onto the barricade. And then like Finn Balor like is out for like 9 months. And then he comes back and he's just a jobber. You know what I mean? Like, he's never had that level of success ever again, nor will he ever. You know what I mean? Like, he injured Finn Balor. Now, I mean, I feel bad for Finn Balor because maybe he deserved more, right? Because he was pegged to have some sort of title run. And if he had like a 6-month title run, let's say, he would have been, and he probably would have had a pretty decent title run just because, like, you know, he would have been the first ever Universal Champion. You don't want to have that guy have like a 1-day run, which is what happened, right? So he pretty much ruined that. But also, I mean, like, I don't really give a shit because Finn Balor is boring, but it still sucks. In addition, Seth Rollins injured, I think he injured Kane, or whatever. He injured and effectively retired Sting, right? Sting retired. He came back to AEW, but did Sting even have like a match in the ring? I can't remember, you know what I mean? He may have. Anyways, he injured a bunch of motherfucks, and that's not good. You know what I mean? But what are you going to do, right? There's nothing you can do about it. That's how he is. He injured Cena. I think he broke Cena's nose. They made that into an angle for some reason, but whatever, right? Reason number, where are we, motherfucks? 19. He's an indie guy who doesn't understand wrestling. He's one of these guys that needs to hit 17 finishers to pin somebody, and he also kicks out of 19 finishers, which renders the points that people like Michael Cole make completely moot. You know when Michael Cole says things like, oh, I can't believe he kicked out. And it's like, what do you mean you can't believe he kicked out? Of course he kicked out. Everybody kicks out. Like, this is WWE 2025. Cucks this. Reason number 20. He is a nerd, motherfuckers. I don't care what you tell me. You can just tell by looking at this guy that he is a massive, massive nerd. Reason 22. He is holding back Bronson Reed. And for all of you that are smart, you've probably predicted reason 23. He is holding back Braun Breaker. Both of these guys are 2 quote-unquote up-and-comers. Bronson Reed, I think he's like almost 40 up in this bitch. You know what I mean? He's like 31. How old is this motherfucker? 36. You know what I mean? Almost 37 in a couple of months, right? This guy's not a young buck, so he doesn't have time, honestly, to be a 36-year-old lackey, right? But Braun Breaker does, and he's better than both of them, so he shouldn't be a lackey either, you know? I can't wait till, like, Scott Steiner's son joins. Apparently, I heard that he signed a name, image, and likeness deal along with Mark Henry's son, who looks like a smaller version of Mark Henry, and the son of, what the fuck's his name? Titus O'Neil, which I don't know. But the point is, you know, like, I'm excited to see Mark Henry's son, of course. I'm more excited to see Scott Steiner's son because this guy's, like, jacked, apparently. And because he can come and maybe he can pull out, like, fucking Braun Breaker from the hell that he finds himself in, you know? And they can compete. They can, you know, main event at WrestleMania one day in, like, 10 years. Who the fuck knows, right? So there's a future to be had there. But, you know, not for now, because Seth Rollins has to have his moment. Once again, motherfucks. Reason 24. Because of Seth Rollins, we have to continue tolerating Paul Heyman. It's time for Paul Heyman to either go or find like a new guy to push, right? This whole like he comes back and manages like, world champions is boring. You know what I mean? He manages people that either are world champions or are already successful, like Seth Rollins. And reason 25, this one cannot be forgiven. Seth Rollins ruined this year's Money in the Bank by winning it, motherfucks. It should have been LA Knight. Tell me otherwise. And with that being said, this has been 25 reasons why Seth Rollins fucking sucks.